Cambridge, of all England, the Shire for men who understand. That's how Rupert Brooke described it. And a traveller new to this ancient county and the other East Anglian villages that border it might ask just what it is these quiet people understand. After a while, he would learn that what they understand is expressed not so much in what they say as in their bearing. Roman legions began the battle to win East Anglia from fen and forest. Through the long centuries, the land has grown richer, its beauty has ripened, and its wisdom has distilled slowly, like a good brew in the cask. But not to be gulped in haste, rather to be lingered over in the sunshine. And in this hospitable land, you, the stranger, will soon find yourself in tune with its rhythm, absorbing its essence. What remains of the fenland seems haunted by an ancient knowledge, silent and unfamiliar. But the crown of East Anglia, Cambridge itself, that is something different. Here, knowledge is far from silent. Here, too, are the men who understand and who always want to understand more. They jab at the frontiers of knowledge like the spear point of an army. And since Cambridge University began nearly 7 centuries ago, they have been probing those frontiers, casting doubt on old ideas, asking awkward questions. They still ask them today. The frontiers of knowledge. And here is one of the battle outposts, the Cavendish Laboratory, an outpost, but in the heart of the university to which it belongs. Here, Rutherford first split the atom, but that was yesterday, and Cambridge is always busy with today's questions, using the victories of yesterday as a springboard. Today's questions, even tomorrow's. This great radio telescope, for instance, it provides the Cavendish Laboratory with some of the answers. The frontiers of knowledge, even the frontiers of space itself. Cathode ray tubes within medieval walls. But there's no contradiction here. Today, just as when those walls were new, they contain some of the foremost minds of the age. The habit of a monk or the shirt sleeves of a scientist, down the centuries, they have followed the same star. They all wanted to know why. They would have understood each other. Some of their frontiers would seem abstruse to the layman, but they follow their star with their feet on the ground. Nothing could be more practical than the fight against polio, and through electron microscopes such as this, the tiny battleground is magnified hundreds of thousands of times. Electron and X-ray microscopy is only one of the fields in which the Cavendish Laboratory is doing revolutionary work, parallel with other countries, but along its own lines in the Cambridge tradition. That tradition is not confined to the university. Here is the research department of a Cambridge electronics factory, asking its own questions, thorny questions, vital questions, in the Cambridge tradition. For that tradition seems to be part of the Cambridge air. What is to be seen in the heart of an atomic pile? It would be useful to know. So Cambridge men build a TV camera to find the answer. Take any college, Peterhouse perhaps, for that is the oldest. Wander into the courtyard as anyone may do. It dates back to 1284, and yet it produced Frank Whittle, the father of the jet engine. Not to mention Henry Cavendish, after whom the laboratory was named, and Lord Kelvin, who revolutionized the mariner's compass. And you on the bicycle, what will you be? Perhaps this one will design spaceships, or write greater plays than Bernard Shaw, or find a cure for the common cold, or plan buildings as modern as this is ancient, or merely catch the 8:15 to the office every morning. Right now, all he's worried about is that she hasn't written to him. Cheer up, she didn't write to Henry Cavendish or Lord Kelvin either. Compared with the august Porter, they too were nobodies. And yet, one day, the Porter may say, I knew him when. Cambridge isn't entirely devoted to science, of course. There are other frontiers than those revealed by the electron microscope, and Cambridge explores them all. When King's College was founded by Henry VI, there was hardly such a thing as science, though what there was, Cambridge men were asking questions about as usual. King's Chapel, completed by Henry VIII, is probably the loveliest piece of Tudor church building in all England. And here you can walk in without asking and listen to the loveliest music in all the world. The backs, where 6 colleges flank the River Cam, are like a jewel set in the gold of the city, a place of loveliness as well as learning. And learning is easier because of the loveliness. In such a place, you can understand why Cambridge has nursed so many poets. Gray, Spencer, Coleridge, Byron, Dryden, Donne, Wordsworth, Milton, and others, famous or forgotten. It was here their words learned to sing. Between the two halves of St. John's College, the Bridge of Sighs, named after its twin in Venice. Cambridge, like other English universities, is a federation of colleges. Every student has friends in other colleges and attends lectures outside his own. So he has a double loyalty, to college and to university. Thus is preserved both the unity and the variety of the Cambridge tradition. Magdalene College contains the library of that busy diarist, Samuel Pepys, a typical product of Cambridge, curious about life and living it to the full.
Lady Beatrice, have you wept all this while?
Yea, and I will weep a while longer.
I will not desire that.
You have no reason. I do it freely.
Surely I do believe your fair cousin is wrong.
Oh, how much might the man deserve of me that would write her?
Is there any way to show such friendship?
Even way, but no such friend.
May a man do it?
It is a man's office, but not yours.
I do love nothing in the world so well as you. Is not that strange?
As strange as a thing I know not. It were as easy for me to say I love nothing so well as you, and yet believe me not, and yet I lie not. I confess nothing, nor I deny nothing. I am sorry for my cousin.
To these students, Shakespeare seems long enough ago. And yet, even before he was born, one of the greatest questioners of all time taught here at Queen's Erasmus. He was the first man to teach Greek in Cambridge, a revolutionary and even dangerous thing to do in those days.
I loved you.
And do it with all thy heart.
I love you with so much of my heart, there is none of it left to protest.
Come, bid me do anything for thee.
Kill Claudio.
Huh? Not for the wide world.
You kill me to deny it. Farewell.
Nay, tarry, sweet Beatrice.
Nay, I am gone though I'm here. There is no loving. I pray you let me go.
Nay, but Beatrice.
In faith, I will go.
We'll be friends first.
You dare easier be friends with me than fight with mine enemy.
Is Claudio thine enemy?
No. With isentropic flow, there are no frictional shear stresses, so the only forces affecting the flow are those in the diagram.
Oh, I see. So it's P plus DP.
Yes, that's right. And the average force normal to the surface of the wall is P plus DP.
Wait a minute, let me get this down.
Okay. P plus DP, oblique 2, DA.
Now, let me see if I've got it right.
A little world, like nowhere else in the wider world. A strange world, and perhaps for that very reason, one where you, the stranger, are always welcome. For where there are so many different kinds of people, so many different things going on, how do you tell a stranger, anyway? To keep the mind fresh and receptive, physical well-being helps, and everyone has his own idea of how to achieve it. For the relaxed pint, a wall by the river. For more formal occasions, the sherry party on a college lawn, one's own or somebody else's. This one is at Trinity Hall. And since London is only 60 miles away and parents and friends from the outside world are fairly frequent visitors, for them and for the hundreds of others who are drawn to Cambridge, one of several very pleasant hotels. These are the May races, which for some reason are held every year in the middle of June. They decide which college is to be head of the river for the year. The river is too narrow for them to race abreast, so they start equally spaced in last year's order. If a boat succeeds in bumping the one in front, they change places for the next day. This goes on for 4 days, so a college can move up 4 places in the year, or down. After the May races are over, the May balls. If you can get to Cambridge for one of these, drop everything and go. Whatever you were going to do is less important. Dancing ends with the dawn, but the program isn't over. Tradition is quite rigid about the end of a May ball. You'll take a punt along the river to the little village of Grantchester, about an hour's journey, for breakfast. If you're awake, that is. To all the English-speaking world, Grantchester means Rupert Brooke. And to Brooke himself, whose name, in alphabetical order with the rest, is on the village war memorial in that churchyard, Grantchester meant perfection. The women there, he said, do all they ought. The men observe the rules of thought. They love the good, they worship truth, they laugh uproariously in youth. And when they get to feeling old, they up and shoot themselves, I'm told. When Cambridge, with its exacting standards, decides that a man is educated, it gives him a degree to say so. Other universities do this too, of course, but degree day in Cambridge, like everything else in Cambridge, has its own character. From every college in the university, you will see black-gowned students converge on the Senate House, like starlings gathering for a migration. They have been undergraduates ever since the end of their school days. A few minutes, a few hundred yards, and they will be graduates. The Vice-Chancellor of the university, entering the Senate House ahead of them, will pronounce them, shall we say, grown up, or just, at last, men who understand. Now they are graduates, men and women with letters after their names. But for them, the process of asking questions will never end. Old men before them and those to come learn that from Cambridge, whatever else they may learn. For that is the most important thing Cambridge has to teach, the thing that has made it what it is. And the next question?